Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Thursday, September the 28th is race number 8 at Belmont Park. Let's take a look at this field of fillies and mares. They're going a mile on the main track, and it is an optional claiming race. And remember, friends, to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download your free Formulator past performances and handicap with us, as we see by the morning line. The number 5, Going for Broke. Even money, Javier Castellano, Chad Brown. Gigantic drop in class.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dropping out of the Grade 1 personal ensign, going longer at Saratoga. Listen, you know how I feel about her, Dan. I guess I know why they tried the personal ensign with her. I don't like her going longer. I like her going shorter. I think this turn back hits her right between the eyes. I think she's better than these horses. I think she's going to be really hard to beat.
She is going to be a short price, deservedly so. I thought she ran really well in that restricted Shine Again Stakes 2 starts back. Her first race of the season, her first race off of a long layoff, and then the personal ensign, she was the one that was chasing Songbird early and paid the price. Right. Probably too much too soon from this form cycle standpoint. Is it somewhat concerning, though, that Chad isn't being a little bit more aggressive with her? I mean, this is a filly that is Grade 1 placed, albeit a well-beaten second behind Songbird in last year's Alabama. Is it somewhat surprising that he's here instead of looking for a juicier spot?
Yeah, I guess you could make the argument that he could just run her in another graded stakes race somewhere, and she would certainly, I think anyway, be competitive in a race like that. I don't know what the thinking is behind that. What I do know is she fits pretty well in this spot. She's just supposed to be really hard to beat here unless there's something wrong.
3, Girl Talk is returning off a fairly long layoff for trainer Kieran McLaughlin, but that's kind of what Girl Talk is right now. She seems like an ouchy 4-year-old filly. She's only made it to the post 4 times. She has returned off similar layoffs in the past to win, most recently at Gulfstream Park on March the 19th, a race in which she beat 3 next out winners.
I thought she ran well in that race. The figure didn't come back anything special. It was her first start off of a pretty long layoff, though. I just thought she ran well because she was just sort of wide out there the entire way, chasing the pace. She got it done at the end. Obviously, I don't think you'll like to see her, return from a layoff, run that race, win, and then go right back to the sidelines again. I don't think any of that stuff's any good. I do think she has some ability, though, and if she's ready to fire off the layoff, I think she's the main threat to the favorite.
Let's see what the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector has in store for our Thursday DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day. Our friends at Timeform are expecting the number 4, Tejana, to go to the front, and I can see that. Tejana has shown some speed. She won the first 2 races of her career in gate-to-wire fashion, but she's another filly sort of been plagued by layoff lines throughout her life.
Yeah, she started her career like she was going to be pretty good. I didn't even think she ran that poorly in the Monmouth Oaks, even though she couldn't hold on to a clear stretch lead in that race. Boy, I don't really know what to say about her first 2 starts since they brought her back from the layoff this year. I mean, it almost, when you watch them, I didn't really see any real excuses for her. And it's almost like she can't run anymore. Shug gave her a little more time. Maybe he's gotten her back to her best. If she's back to her best, I guess she's a contender in here. I can't bet her off her last 2 races.
For pace projectors, speed figures, a new and different way, and a fun way to look at the past performances, head on over to timeformus.com. The number 6, Jules in Rome, we see second in the pace projector. This is a mare, a very solid New York bred who just seemed to go off form earlier this form cycle back in May. That critical eye was kind of a disaster. And since then, the speed figures have really declined. Bruce Levine, though, a very good horseman, saw something. He took her for 40.
It'd be very interesting to see if Bruce Levine can get her back to her good race, because her good race actually gives her a little bit of a look in here. She was claimed away from Rudy Rodriguez. Rudy's the one who got her really good sort of last summer, and she's strung together some really nice races. She's been awful this year. We'll see if Levine can turn her around.
Rudy Rodriguez, who's been struggling at Belmont so far this championship meet, has 2 in here. Let's talk about the 7, Literata, who's coming off of a win against stakes competition, New York breds, in the Saratoga Dew, going a mile and an eighth. She's now dropping in for the 62.5. She's in good form, but her figs are still light.
Yeah, she's pretty good, and she's won each of her last 2 starts. Both of them around 2 turns, surprisingly, because anyway, to me, I've always felt like she was a better Belmont horse, 1-turn routing kind of horse, but she's gotten it done in her last 2. You're right, though, a little bit slow on figures, but she's got 1 or 2 back there that would give her a look.
And she can adapt to the pace scenario as well. She can be up close to the pace. A good trip probably coming from the outside. Rachel's Temper, I think you can make an argument, is getting the class relief that she needs, except for perhaps for going for Brogue. Last time out in against Verb's Tail, who we might see in the Belle Dame on Saturday. That Summer Colony Stakes fairly productive The 1-2 finishers of the recent Grade 3 Locust Grove came out of that. Both of those horses are 90-plus Buyer speed figures. Race before that, you can easily forgive Rachel's temper. A first start off a long layoff against a solid sprinter in Moma Mia Maria. She has some races from last year that make her competitive, and she's going to be a nice price.
Yeah, she is going to be a nice price, and you only have to go back to last July, and it seems like it was forever ago, but it's only about 4 or 5 races on her card. I mean, she ran Going for Broke to a nose up at Saratoga. She ran really well that day. And she's another one, a lot like Going for Broke. I don't think she's as good as that horse, but a lot like her. I think going shorter is better for her. I know she ran a couple of good races going 9 at Saratoga last summer. I think she's better going shorter.
Annie Rocks was claimed 2 starts back from a red-hot Jason Service barn by Carlos Martin, and she stretched out in the restricted Summer Colony Stakes. Martin put blinkers on. This horse understandably showed that stretch-out speed, and she just tired. Was it a situation where she was in too tough, the distance was too far, the competition just way over her head? I thought her race 2 starts back was not bad in a race that's produced 2 next out winners, including next out 93 Turf Buyer winner Malibu Stacy.
I mean, that's how I'm looking at her. I feel like she ran fine 2 starts back. I don't want to hold the last race against her. I actually feel like she's a pretty good horse. The 1-turn mile, I think, really works for her. She won't be out there winging it on the lead this time. I think she'll be, settled somewhere off of it. If I was going to take a long shot in this race, it would be her.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this race. Mike, you're going with Going for Broken. My top selection in here, Smile Big. I don't have a major opinion in this race. Let's talk about Smile Big. Her race 2 starts back. I think a lot of folks are going to argue that was a day at Saratoga where you needed to be on the lead and you needed to be down on the rail. And Smile Big was on the lead and on the rail. And not only that, she basically walked. I'm going to try to make the case that she's been okay on dirt this form cycle. She doesn't need to be on the lead. I actually like her cutting back slightly to a mile in here. She's going to be a big price. I think from a pick standpoint, it's more like who's going to complete the exacta by Going for Broke. Maybe I would use Smile Big at a gigantic price, but there are things to like, but there's also ways to look at Smile Big and say that big number came just because the track was in her favor.
Well, she had a lot, certainly a lot play into her hands that day. Not only all the things you mentioned, the one thing you didn't mention is she wiped out about half the field at the start of that race.
She did break out.
So, all of those things sort of helped her out in that race. But I agree with everything else you said about her, too. I mean, she's pretty good. She's been in good form for Rudy since he took her back. I don't know. I could see her. She looks a lot like a lot of the other horses in this race.
The problem is, I guess there's a question of class with her. I mean, it wasn't so long ago where she was in for $40,000 non-winners at 2 Life. I think she's sharp facing horses, perhaps dropping in class that maybe have seen their better days. So Smile Big going to be a big price. Going for Broke, obviously the horse to beat. Mike's going 5-3-2. I'm going 1-5-2 in our DRF.com formulator race of the day. If you are playing the Belmont Thursday card from home, you get to fall right into a $300 sign-up bonus when you sign up for DRF Bets. Head on over to DRF.com/fall. Use the promo code FALL300 to access the bonus. An approximate post time for our feature at Belmont, race number 8, is at 5:13 Eastern. Good luck.